takes care of Bond, he'll get back up after a couple months of operations. So it's like, whatever. And that's a really good, neat trait that you don't see with many other villains because it's kind of like, oh, it must be a Wednesday. Been there, done that. I'm gonna kill
R-
Bond.
Right. And actually, if I had one criticism of License to Kill, I only have one. It's just a minor nitpick, but in the last scene that we see with Felix, this is at that after the
Before we
truck.
never see the poor guy again.
Yeah, well, we see after the trucker chase, they're at that party, and Bond's speaking to him on the telephone. Felix seems a little bit too happy in that conversation. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's great. Oh, M called. He wants you to call him when you get back to London."
But I think,
It's like it's no big deal. I've lost my leg.
but
My
at,
wife is dead.
Wife
And
was
I'm
at,
feeling fine.
And I will
at
never be in a Bond movie again until the reboot.
but at the same time, I think, in all fairness, I think what also happened is that I think he could be putting on a, and again, I think just being that this is a Bond film, you don't get to have that chance. Is that he could be also putting on a face where, after he gets off the phone, you see him, the smile drop off, and you see him really broken. I think
right.
because he knows Bond is his best friend. He doesn't want to hold him down because he knows that if he holds him down, Bond could be killed in another operation. So in a sense, he has to put a mask on.
Right, and because the conversations don't mix because you see David Henderson playing Felix, oh like, oh, that's great, oh, M called, and it cuts back to Dalton, and Dalton's like talking on the phone, and his voice is very low and very serious. It's almost like they probably shot that scene later afterwards. I think would have been I don't know because they would have had to gone back to Key West because the last scene at the party takes place in Isthmus. I think would have been well, he could have gone back to Isthmus, but I think would have been a really good scene is that uh, Bond goes back to Felix's hospital room and Felix is in there, and it's like this really dramatic scene where Dalton, where Bond says to Felix, I got the bastard.
Yeah.
Actually, that actually makes me think for a minute. The funny thing is about Felix in this movie, while the entire revenge plot is based around the fact of what happened to him, he's really not that major of a character in the movie itself.
Yeah.
He's in a hospital bed. He got his leg ripped off.
At the same time, there's nothing much you can really do. I'm not being smart or being insensitive to the character because I love him too, but I think there's nothing else you can really do with it because what only thing
Well,
you can really do.
this is why I think they should have had him more involved in the movie itself before the actual accident had occurred, so that when it happened, you'd feel the more impact. Like I know he was a recurring character, but the fact that he was never really played by the same actor
He
made him
was in
really
that
feel like a
movie.
up until that point, he was never played by the same actor more than once.
And also, you don't see him in much danger. For example, in this film, you see him in probably the gravest danger since Goldfinger. I mean, he's actually jumping out. He's involved in the drug bust. He's involved with taking down the plane with Sanchez in it. You see him jump out of the helicopter with Bond. And in a sense, that Felix Leiter has become the American equivalent of James Bond, which is cool. It would
Yeah,
have been
that's
nice.
what I thought that was a good idea, but my point is,
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm just
it's just I think it would have had more emotional impact for the viewers if you actually got to see more of Felix before that happened.
Well,
oh,
they didn't want that. That's why they kicked him to the curb after License to Kill, because they thought having a cripple man pop up from time to time would be depressing.
hey,
And what I was just gonna say was that in the pre-credit sequence in License to Kill, that's the most you see of Felix probably ever. It's probably the most involvement he ever gets. It's always like, "Hey Bond, what's happening? Oh, here's the information on this guy." Like
Well, I
compared
think
to when Live
I
and
think
Daylight,
out of all the Bond movies, the one that Felix was mostly involved with would probably have to be Thunderball. He was actually pretty involved with that one.
well,
yeah,
I didn't see that one, so I can't attest to that.
it would be
All he did was help Bond look, though. He helped him look, but that's about it.
yeah.
He was never in any real danger.
Oh no, he was never any danger, but he had more screen time, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Hey, Webman, I think you might like this. If Breaking Bad it was in the '80s, this would have been a fun scene. What if at the end of the movie, you see Felix like, so Bond, what happened? I won. Sorry.
Now, when we talk about License to Kill, that's a movie that's always. I don't think I've seen any place where that's highly ranked. It's always ranked at the bottom, and I never got that.
Neither do
It's
I.
too
I think that's actually one of the best.
Well, you're talking. I'm not being smart. You're dealing. I hate to be nasty to the audience, but you're dealing with a generic audience. You see them.
Yeah.
They want
That's
action. They
true.
want stuff getting blown up. And with
It wasn't
them,
like a Bond movie to them. You know,
But
it was
stuff gets
dark.
on that.
but I think it was a great fun. You had some of the toughest stunts in
Yeah.
the series. I mean, you see this guy has a harpoon attached to an airplane. He's getting skiing, and he's pulling himself into the airplane, fighting into the airplane. And you have the awesome 18-wheeler going, balancing on one side of its wheels.
I think it was really ahead of its time. I mean, it'd probably be a lot more higher ranked now due to Craig's films. But at the time, it was way too dark for the Bond audience of that time.
Yeah. It ended up becoming a Lazenby, in a sense, because no one was ready for that type of Bond, as you guys are saying. Sorry.
And what's okay, here are the common criticisms. It's not fun. Who gives a shit? It's a revenge movie.
But it's good. It is fun. It is fun because look, when Sanchez gets burned, it's like yes, and when he's screaming like that, seriously, he has someone that he's screaming. He's like yes.
Well, actually, I should
It
reiterate
has
that.
ninjas in it.
Right. Well, I should reiterate that. By the means of fun, what people mean is campy. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
People were expecting a campy James Bond movie.
I don't know why, considering the Living Daylights, but whatever.
But in all seriousness, the Living Daylights, it had fun moments. It had some campy moments. You have I forgot what it is. The evil Jack. I'm gonna just say it. Evil Jack Wade, as one of the villains, and it's a somewhat goofy showdown. With a few License to Kill, it gets dark. Like boom. Like whoa. What just happened?
Right.
Speaking of the villains of the Living Daylights, Koskov. I don't think there's ever been a villain before or after that movie who kissed as much ass as that guy did.
Bond, I love you.
You saved my life, Bond. Oh, I forget.
Oh, what do you have? What do you have for me here? Oh, a candy basket. Oh, a basket from Harrods.
I'll give you 5 horses for your car.
Well, yeah. I guess it was campy.
Um,
There was nothing more, though, and I guess that might be what people.
It was still serious. It was still a serious Bond, and still had that campy feel to it. And so all of a sudden, okay, then people are still trying to also figure out who Dalton is. Okay, what's going to be different about it? So in a sense, okay, he's going to be a serious Bond, and it's going to have some campy moments, no problem. But then all of a sudden, License to Kill happens, and it's not. It's not what people expect.
It still has its campy moments, though, like that television priest or whatever he was.
Oh, yes, I was going to get to him. Another common complaint about this movie is the priest, the televangelist played by Wayne Newton. Who gives a shit? He's in it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Bless your heart.
I thought it was funny, but whatever.
I thought it was a clever way to actually help fund the drug operation. That's a brilliant way of doing it.
Yeah, it gave you an idea of how wide it basically in one short segment basically showed you why Sanchez was as powerful as he was. Because as silly as that may seem, that is a fucking genius scheme right there for getting money out of people.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
hey, Webbman.
That's true.
If you're in trouble with God, better call Saul.
And what else can I say? And this is I actually do acknowledge this criticism, but it's not. It doesn't ruin the movie for me. License to Kill. They probably had a very limited budget on this movie because the production values aren't as great, and it does have a very kind of Miami Vice kind of look to it. But it doesn't ruin it for me. License to Kill it's fucking awesome, and so is Living Daylights.
The truck sequence was probably it's very actually what's really great with the truck sequence is that actually it's just one very big action sequence because once everything once the drug operation facility explodes, you have one very big and long action sequence that doesn't stop until Sanchez dies, and that's a really great way. It's like, okay, action sequence in the facility. You see Bond battling the secondary jerk, villain jerk, and you see him getting grinded in. You see the John Double Timer bad guy getting crushed, pierced through the chest with a forklift. You see, then you go to the trucks. You see the trucks. Bond's taking the trucks down. You see him fight Sanchez. Then airplane sequence, all that stuff. It's really, really great and well written action sequence. It's amazing.
Well, another great thing about that action sequence is, 2 points I like to make. One point is that there's only parts of it have music to it. Just like a couple parts have like the Bond theme kicking. Most of the time it's spare. And if they did it nowadays, it would have been like continuous dun 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 dun, dun constantly big orchestra music playing throughout. And actually probably one of my favorite scene, and it goes by very quickly, is the scene where Bond is driving one truck, and he's catching up on the tanker with Sanchez in it, and Bond puts the truck into cruise control. He kicks out the window, he climbs onto the front hood, and he's just standing there like he's preparing to grab onto the other tanker, and that look on his face is just really determined.
Yeah, I also. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
Oh, you didn't cut me off. Go ahead.
Oh, what was also cool is that you speaking of the music sequence. I thought that was a really neat thing. Remember where Bond's underneath the truck and you see Sanchez with the Uzi, and you see him shoot, and all of a sudden you hear the Bond music being played with and the bullets dinging off the tanker. Remember that?
I do.
That was neat.
I watched it again.
Yeah, but that was neat. It's like that was a neat touch. It was a little corny. It could have been seriously corny, but at the same time with how serious it was, it's like they were pulling Raiders of the Lost Ark almost. It was a neat little touch, I thought.
You mean okay? So the music there wasn't a score.
No, it wasn't. It was the bullets dinging off the tanker that was playing the Bond theme.
It went ding 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 ding.
Yeah. Give me a second. I'll pull it up. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. But it was. I thought it was cool. It's like I dig it. And I thought what's interesting. And I think what's also neat with License to Kill is that it probably had some of the most violent deaths of any of the Bond villains ever.
Yeah. Hey,
what about
you keep it?
Okay. Yeah. What about the money under it?
I can't actually that one scene where Buddy explodes in the pressurized room. I actually can't watch that.
Yeah, that freaked me out. Yeah,
that one being eaten alive by sharks, and that one gets exploded in the decompression chamber. The main villain gets burnt alive. The secondary villain gets ground up into chunks.
Buddy gets impaled on the
forklift.
Forklift.
He met a dead end.
And the other guy that was getting grinded, that was like, whoa.
Yeah, I don't know what his name was, but all I know is that he was played by Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
So I just refer to him as Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, it was also interesting is that Bond is involved, sees almost aside from the double crosser, he sees all these bad guys that hurt Felix and murdered his wife, the wife, die. He witnesses it. And actually, it was interesting with the decompression chamber. He could have left. He could have simply left and let the guy die. But he had to watch, and it shows how personal it was to Bond. He wanted to see it for himself to get the satisfaction that he got one of the bad guys that hurt his friend. And it shows how. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Go
good.
ahead.
That's it. I had nothing else to say.
And also, he stayed behind to make sure that I'm sure he figured like, okay, if I'm setting up Buddy here, and I'm sure I have to see if Sanchez, kills him. What was another point I was going to make?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And
go ahead.
here's the video. Here's the chase sequence. Unfortunately, this person put music to it. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but unfortunately, but if you, it's like about 20 seconds into it, it has the sequence that Michael and I were talking about. Really good, really good. But um, it's I think that's the problem. I think probably what was led to Dalton's downfall is that because he was a filler, and also with a License to Kill, it became kind of like this is way too dark for people.
Yeah, I believe, if I recall correctly, even though Timothy Dalton did a great job in his own right, I believe, if I recall correctly,
I
at the
hear it.
time, people were really looking forward to Brosnan taking on the role at that time.
Yeah, and
I just watched it. I heard it. I
okay.
never noticed that before.
I didn't. Yeah, it's like that was interesting. It's like, got the coincidence. Nope. It could have been. What was great was it's like if it wasn't, if it was a humor scene like Roger Moore, he's getting shot at. It could have been very humorous, but at the same time, it was a really cool sequence. Okay, he's getting dragged, and you hear the bullets. Like, yeah, that was cool.
Though I do think the movie does have. I've already told you one of my issues in the movie. Another one that's, I guess it's more of a nitpick, if anything. But I really don't think they should have killed off Sharky.
But then we wouldn't have got that line. This compliments of Sharky. We wouldn't have got that awesome moment.
Yeah,
also-
but it just seemed like an unnecessary. Like, I realize this sounds kind of silly considering it's a revenge movie, but I felt it was an unnecessary death. It didn't really add anything to the film.
It's the side characters. They always gonna die though.
And also,
It's a tradition.
he's actually what's also interesting is the shark sequences from Live and Let Die. So they just took that part. So
And the scene from For Your Eyes Only, where they get dragged behind a boat, that was from Live and Let Die too.
oh, okay, cool. It seems to Live and Let Die. The book was pretty cool.
Oh, the Live and Let Die book is actually really good. It's one of my favorites.
Ah,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not so much the movie.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
book is not exactly politically correct. So by today's standards, so you gotta
Oh,
keep
yeah,
that in
like,
mind.
if you were to count how many times the N word appeared in that book, you'd be there all day.
Yeah, it's a great book, but
yeah.
it's not politically correct at all.
It would make
Well, all you have to do is go in and replace the N word with robot.
Yeah, well, just it's a product of its time. It's written by an old man from the 50s. Just gotta keep that in mind.
Robot Jim.
Yeah, pretty much.
okay. It's time to start wrapping it up. Any last thoughts about Dalton?
Fucking awesome.
Fucking awesome.
I think he's a good guy. I really think he deserved more films. It's a shame he didn't, but what are you gonna do?
It's not lawsuit. It's his own fault though, really. But it's partially his fault, partially not. The guy was waiting how many years for the next one, and it just never happened.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, well, who knows? Maybe Timothy Dalton will be in the second part of season 5 of Breaking Bad. Webbman, come on, Walter White versus James Bond, huh?
I doubt it. I think they're pretty much going for a Walter White versus Hank storyline with that one.
I could just see it. That's like, I am the one who knocks, and Timothy Dalton kicks in the door and shoots Walter White.
I'm the one who knocks it down.
Yeah.
I don't watch this show. I have nothing. I have no interest in this show. I know nothing about it.
You need to watch it. It's an awesome show.
Yeah, not Breaking Bad. I was talking about Chuck, and Timothy Dalton made an appearance as the main character's dad.
Villain. He wasn't the villain. He wasn't the dad. He was the villain of the first season. Of the first half of the first season. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember a scene where he's like, "I can kill you with this plastic fork."
Yeah, he was the main villain of the first half of the first season.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, the second half was his daughter, and she was nowhere near as good.
Well,
But that was Chuck's problem, you know. It always had great build up, and then it just drops the ball.
like the Bond series. So
Except third season. Third season's pretty good, but that's about
okay.
it.
Yeah, so we all agree Timothy Dalton good. Wish there were more films about him, huh?
Well, actually, I'm looking up the Chuck thing, and it says that he only appeared in season 4.
Yeah, like I said, he was the main villain of the fourth season.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I said third season had a different villain, but third season was pretty damn good, though.
Okay, I think that's it, Pat.
Yeah, I'd say that's about it.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that would be kind of funny. For you know, yeah, this is I should have put this in. I think the other problem with maybe the weakness of the Dalton films is that it didn't have any memorable songs. Where for example, "The Spy Who Loved Me" had a great.
Nah, I disagree. I love the theme song to License to Kill. I love that song.
I do. License to Kill song, it's okay, but I prefer the Aha song, Living Daylights.
Funny
I
for me.
I have to listen to it again.
For me, when it comes to memorable songs for the Timothy Dalton era, the only one that I actually find I can remember is that the random song that Necros is listening to on his head on his.
Where's everybody gone? Or something like that. I don't know.